I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
So, Rob, I understand that you are a masochist and watched all of the 1990s Batman movies. Is that correct?
Over 2 days.
Oh, in 2 days? Oh my gosh! You ruined your whole weekend. It sounds like.
we finished Gotham, the TV show. The latest season of that, and for whatever reason that jumped us to why don't we watch the 90s Batman movies, which we tried to do about a year ago and got about 20 minutes into the first one and just gave up.
Yeah, I remember when you did that. We talked about it, and it was pretty horrifying, right? Was that the first one that you were watching back then?
Yeah, it was the first one. Honestly, it wasn't any better. Like, it wasn't any better this time. I feel like we were just in a better mindset to deal with how bad these are.
Yeah, you had set your expectations at less than 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So you even got to Batman and Robin, right?
Oh, wow. That's a masterpiece of something. It really is a bad film.
I've got a fun fact for you. Chris O'Donnell, who plays Robin in that movie, used to live around the corner from me in the city when I lived in Chicago.
Huh.
Yeah, that's all I know. It's not like I knew him or anything, but he lived around the corner.
Is he still acting?
He is in a TV show, and probably people are screaming at us right now, and I can't remember what show it is. I'm going to look it up because he is in a TV show that's been on for a while. I just don't watch it.
Huh. I can't imagine being in that film jump-started his career. Although, arguably, he is one of the better actors in that film.
Yeah, he was kind of a hot commodity for a while. You know, he was a big deal for a while, and then he kind of faded very quickly. Probably because he was Robin. He is in NCIS Los Angeles, according to Google.
Okay.
All right, and we can even.
Oh, so he's doing all right.
Yeah, he's
then.
all right. He's in a major TV show in the U.S. I don't know. I'm sure that they show that one in your neck of the woods. You'll have to now that you've seen Robin, you're going to have to watch that as well.
I can't go through however many seasons of NCIS there are.
And how many? Yeah,
it's just so many of those shows.
Seasons and variants. I mean, there's probably like 20 of them. Yeah. No. So yes. So tell me a little more about your Batman viewing.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Batman's first. Michael Keaton is really bad in this. I feel like current Michael Keaton would do really well as a Batman character. But this, like, he's got no facial expression. He doesn't seem to emote anything. I know Batman's like a moody character, but he doesn't even go to moody. He's just kind of this monotone guy that's not really very Batman-like at all.
Yes, and his main look, if there is a look, it's Michael Keaton pursing his lips in a way as he stands there trying to look serious.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, and he's putting on his glasses to read the bat computer, and I think, hang on a minute, do you not need the glasses when you've got the bat suit on? Is that that was a weird choice for a Batman film to make him have subpar vision.
Yeah, he needs his reading glasses. Yeah. Oh man. So how many are there? I mean, there's got to be like 5 of them or so.
There's 4. I was reading there was supposed to be a 5th one, which was gonna be a Harley Quinn movie, but they cancelled that.
Given what they did with the Penguin and Mr. Freeze, I can only imagine what that would have been like.
Oh yeah, it would have been awful. I kind of wanted to watch them just to see what they were like, because as bad as they are now, I remember when they were out, like, they were ridiculously popular. I don't know what it was like in the US, but in the UK, like, every time one of those come out, they were stupidly popular.
Oh yeah, it was the same thing here. And I think the first one is probably it really has been since the 90s since I watched them, but I think the first one is probably the best one.
Yeah, I think which is, that's not to say it's a good movie, but yeah, it's definitely the best one of the 4.
But they really jumped the shark towards the end.
Yeah, even the dialogue in Batman and Robin, and even the one previous to it, Batman Forever, is that it? Which is the one with Mr. Freeze? No, that's Batman and Robin, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
just the dialogue, and I mean they used up like just every ice pun they could think of in that movie.
Well, I suppose what they were going for in part was a takeoff on the 60s TV show. Have you ever seen the TV show back then?
Yeah, I've seen some episodes, so I know the kind of style that is.
Yeah, but it's dumb in a different way, I suppose. I mean, that is so campy that you can't mistake it for a serious movie. And sometimes I think the 90s Batman movies weren't sure if they were going for that or if they were going for serious.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. And I mean, you've got like Alicia Silverstone in it, and she's like just awful. I mean, she is so bad in that.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's a particularly good actress.
No, I mean, no, she's not great anyway. And the fact that she compared her acting in this to Wonder Woman a few months ago was just mind-boggling.
Really,
to
wow.
Me. Yeah, she made some claim, because obviously Wonder Woman's kind of really the first like successful female-led superhero movie. Right. And Alicia Silverstone made some claim about her as Batgirl in Batman and Robin. Right. And now I've seen it. I mean, it just makes it an even more ridiculous statement.
Oh, you know what I started watching? I started watching Supergirl over when I was on vacation last week. That's a pretty good show.
Yeah, the Supergirl's nice. I like it. It's not too... It doesn't take itself too seriously. It feels a lot like... Did you ever watch the one with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's it called? New Adventures of Superman. Like, it kind of feels like that. Like, it's reasonably serious, but it still is quite fun to watch.
Right. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I only saw the first 2 or 3 episodes, but good enough that I'm going to continue watching it, I think. Yeah,
the superhero stuff has definitely got a lot better since the 90s.
Yeah, definitely. They figured out how to do it. Marvel finally got their act together, and now everybody's just kind of working off the Marvel formula, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Although after we watched these 4, we were just looking to see what other superhero movies had been made, before the Marvel Cinematic Universe had started and stuff like that. And then obviously there's Catwoman. I don't know if you were even aware that this was a film that was made.
I think I'm aware of it, but vaguely.
There's a Catwoman movie with Halle Berry.
Ah, right.
And we found it, I think it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and we turned it on, and there was like a 4-minute intro of like just Egyptian hieroglyphics and some cats, and we're about 3 minutes into this, and I think this is not going to be a good movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, and so we stopped and just went on YouTube and watched the Honest trailer for it. And we were like, no, there's no way we can watch this. Like, it is really bad.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there was a really old Hulk movie, too. You know, Hulk is probably one of the best. If you really want to watch bad superhero movies, they have tried so many times to make a Hulk movie, and they've never come out right. Even in the modern times, there was one, maybe 5 years ago or something like that, and the Hulk movies have never been good.
Yeah, so there's the 2008 one with Ed Norton.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking
which
of.
Is technically part of the MCU. That's not great. And then I think there's 2003 was the one they did with Eric Bana. And I like, that's even worse.
Right. And I think they've decided that that's just not a character that you can center a movie around at this point.
No, I think he's great when they include him in the movies, Avengers, and he's going to be in the latest Thor film and stuff like that. But yeah, just a movie about him just doesn't really work very well.
Yeah. So Rob, I saw you tweeting this week about the UK TV license and that you were canceling your license. What's going on?
When you say what's going on, is that what's the TV license? Do you want me to
Well, you probably should.
Far,
for background, you probably should explain it. I know from talking to you before what it is, because it's like a compulsory license to watch television, right? To fund things like the BBC.
Yeah, so it's TV license is run by the BBC. It's the money goes directly to the BBC. It goes through a few companies, but essentially it's the BBC. And you have to have a TV license if you watch live TV, so any live TV, not just the BBC, or if you use the BBC iPlayer for catch-up stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I haven't watched live TV in probably 4 or 5 years and never used the iPlayer. But until this point, they weren't forcing you to log into the iPlayer, so it was kind of this weird middle ground where, although I haven't used it, I can't really prove definitively that I haven't.
Oh, right.
And it's actually a criminal offence to not have a TV license and watch TV.
Yes, the TV cops come for you.
Exactly. It's like up to £1,000 fine. So it's kind of a bit heavy-handed, given that all it's for is just funding the BBC. But so I've always paid it because I'm just like, I can't be bothered with the hassle of it.
Right.
But last month they finally enforced you have to log in to use the iPlayer. And that was the trigger I was waiting for. I was like, right, well, if I have to log in, then as long as I never log in, that's kind of definitive proof that I'm not using it.
Right. But couldn't you still be hanging an antenna out your window and watching over the air?
Yeah, I could. But I don't have any aerials plugged into any of my TVs. So if potentially they got a warrant to come round and see if I was watching live TV, they can look at all my TVs that I have and see that I don't have any aerials plugged in.
Makes sense.
It's a bit hit and miss because obviously, with any crime, it's down to the people who are accusing you of a crime to prove you've done something. But TV licensed people can be a bit heavy-handed and or underhanded, I guess.
Do they actually come for people, I assume, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely happens. They will send their own people round to investigate you, but of course you don't have to let them in. They're still just a private company,
right.
So unless they get a warrant, you're not under any obligation to let them in your house.
How much does the license cost?
The license is £150 a year.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a huge amount of money. It works out like £12 a month or something, or £13 a month.
Right.
So it's not a massive amount of money. In all honesty, for me, it's not about the money. It's about the principle of it that I'm giving them that money.
Right.
So yeah, so now they're forcing login. I've cancelled it, and I'm still trying to get a refund because they make that very difficult. Because the way they do the paying it each month, you've actually paid in advance. So I have a TV license until the end of like February or something.
Oh wow.
Which is ridiculous. I don't know why they do it like that.
No, because they. Yeah.
So now I'm trying to get a refund for that extra 6 months or whatever, which I'm not convinced I'm going to get back, but we'll see.
Huh. Yeah, interesting. I've heard good things about the BBC iPlayer. You can't use it outside the UK, I don't think.
No, not without a VPN. Basically, you have to be on a UK IP address or network or whatever.
Right.
And for a lot of people, yeah, the TV license is a really good deal. It's like I say, £12 a month. If you're watching a lot of live TV or you watch a lot of stuff on iPlayer, then yeah, that's great for you. But I never use it.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of easier for me to prove that I don't need it. I've cancelled it.
Yeah, once in a while I'll run across something I want to watch. It's usually like maybe a live show of some band or something, and it'll be on one of the BBC channels, and I'll go and I'll try to listen, and I get blocked and I can't get through. I should probably just set my VPN up for London or something and see if that works.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, now you also have to have an account. I don't know how they're validating those accounts. They're probably not.
Right.
But who knows? But I mean, talking of TV, you've cancelled your cable subscription.
I did finally. I've actually wanted to do this for years, but it hasn't really made sense. The cable companies are set up the process in a way that it doesn't make sense economically to do in a lot of situations. And I have 3 kids, and my wife and I all living in the same house. And over the years, none of my kids watch cable TV ever anymore. So it's not really money well spent for them. My wife does still watch regular TV, and I do from time to time. But now that some of these bundles with things like Hulu and YouTube and everything have gotten a lot better, most of what we would want to watch are on one of those services. And so I started looking into whether I could save a little money by canceling the TV. Now, the problem really is that I don't have a lot of internet options. I can use AT&T, which has a glorified dial-up connection, which is not fast. I think I can get like 5 megabytes up and 15 down, or maybe 20 down. It's okay, it's fine, but it's not great. And then Comcast, which has a lot faster options. So I kept the internet, and I actually kept landline phone too, because really, for historical reasons, we don't really need a landline phone, except that phone number is a phone number that everybody has. Friends, schools, all kinds of things. Right. And it doesn't cost a lot to have it. And, so we kept the landline through Comcast too, because I had switched it over from AT&T and kept the phone number and all that. And side note, I recently set up Nomo Robo with my home phone, and it's been bliss. It got rid of because that's why at first I was thinking of canceling the landline, mainly because all it is junk calls all day long, especially like at dinner time or something like that. And I've gotten rid of the vast majority of those with Nomo Robo, and at least for VoIP based, it only works with VoIP based landlines, but it's free. Unlike when you get the iPhone app, I think they charge $20 a year for applying it to your mobile. But anyway, so I kept the phone, I kept the internet. The reality is the way they price cable here is that they bundle in if you bundle in the TV, you get a much better deal. So if you get rid of the TV, you're no longer eligible for their discounts, and the price goes up quite a bit. And as a result, the savings is not great. But even that said, I was able to, I guess, lop off about $50 a month, even after paying for Hulu. So that's what I did. So ended up being close to $100 a month less, and then I picked up Hulu, which is $40 a month, and that has 50 channels, 50 live channels, and then their whole back catalog of on-demand type stuff, Netflix style. And the app is pretty nice. It's pretty good app. So now we're just watching. I set this up last night, so I can't really say what the Hulu experience is like yet. But I set it up last night through the Apple TV, and so now basically we're going to use Hulu and Netflix, and then eventually, I suppose, maybe Amazon Prime once it comes to the Apple TV. There's not enough draw to Amazon Prime Video for me to even switch over to our Roku stick that has it on it. But once it's on the Apple TV, it'll be a little easier, just kind of bop between them. So hopefully it'll be part of that TV app they have on the Apple TV, which once you have a couple services is pretty convenient, because you can go in there, search for things, look at recommendations, and it'll show you where it's available. It'll say Hulu, Netflix, it'll say Hulu, iTunes, that kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe I'll pick up HBO Go too, but I'm not a big. There are a couple things I watch on HBO, but I'm not sure that's worth it to me. So I did it, and now we'll see how it goes. I mean, there are things that we're not going to have that we had before that I think we did watch, but not a lot. And we don't have like local news and things like that, but the local news is pretty awful, and you can watch, you can get national and international news on things like CNN or MSNBC. So it's not like we're cut off from what's happening in the world. So I'm glad I did it. I think it's going to be an interesting experiment. I wish that it would have cut down the cost a little more. I think maybe I'll save like $500 a year or something. But it was just a bunch of junk that we didn't need. So now I got those boxes, those heat creating boxes out of my house. And the process was a little bit. I will say that Comcast customer service has gotten a little better, but I still had to get on the phone, listen to the sales pitch, and then take the boxes to a retail Comcast store to return them, sit around, wait, then talk to the guy, give him the boxes. Then I go home. My internet's out. They've broken my internet, so I had to get on the phone again, go through a bunch of stuff. And eventually I got the internet running again and the phone working. So it was a little bit of an ordeal yesterday afternoon, but I'm finished now. So
nice.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe next time, maybe in a week or a couple of weeks or a month, I'll see. I can report back on what Hulu is like. But for now, I'm just glad it's working, and we were able to record this morning because I do have internet service again. So
I guess in some ways, like, you know, you're saying you're saving maybe $500 a year or something. You know, if there's stuff you miss, you know, from cable channels and stuff like that, I guess a lot of that is probably available on like iTunes to buy or rent if it's a TV show or something like that.
yeah, there is, and that's kind of my thought is if there's something in particular that we really, really want to see that isn't available, we can go that route. I think if and that would be very few things, maybe a show or two. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do that, and then maybe we'll pick up HBO because I do want to see Westworld when it comes back out again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because that's coming probably next year, I think.
At some point, yeah. I'll just at this point though, I can just wait because I don't. I'm not a Game of Thrones person, so I don't need that right now, and I can always catch up on it when I do sign up. So,
yeah, definitely.
So you signed up for a Kickstarter, and I thought you had learned your lesson about hardware Kickstarters because hardware Kickstarters, I think, are often a big bag of hurt.
Well, this is... I kind of made the joke on Twitter, you know, well, I've backed a hardware Kickstarter. I've never actually backed a hardware Kickstarter
Really? Oh,
before.
see, I have.
but I do that as a rule. You know, it's like, I'm not backing this thing. Like, if I really want this product, I can just buy it when it becomes to retail. You know, there's the thing I backed, which is a kind of updated N64 controller. You know, I could just wait. I could get this when they start actually retailing them. But for this one, you know, they have their prototype. Everything apparently is working. They're claiming they're going to deliver in November, which is only a couple of months away. And they're doing them at $5 off what they're going to retail for. So I thought I can risk it for that. Like I said, it's like $20.
Right. Right.
Well, plus the $20 shipping to get it to the UK. But you know, that's fine. That's still not particularly expensive. So yeah, I've backed this project. Annoyingly, they wanted $13,000, and they're nearly at $100,000 now, and they've got 26 days to go. So
Wow.
I'm never getting this product.
Yeah, that's actually a problem sometimes when they have so much demand that now they're at a scale that they weren't anticipating, and now they've got to find all new, you know, producers or something, and that could definitely slow it down.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this a while ago when we were talking about Kickstarters, but I much prefer a Kickstarter like the way you know, Mike and Brad have done for the Pen Addict Kickstarters, where for the physical things they're producing, like there is actually a limit. You know, there's 30 of them available or 50 of them available, and then once they hit that limit, there is no more.
Right.
You know, because then they're not getting too ahead of themselves. Whereas, you know, like I say, at this point now, rather than the 300-400 backers they had, so that's 300-400 controllers, they're going to be making, I mean, they've got 3,000 backers now.
Wow.
You know, so that's significantly increasing the manufacturing run.
Yeah, I'm a lot more picky than I used to be with Kickstarters, especially the hardware ones. Not, you know, there's a lot of things just happen, and hardware is difficult to produce, and unless it's one like you said that's either low risk because there's not a lot of money involved, or they look like they've really all they're really doing is needing the funding, and then they've worked out the actual hardware issues, or it's someone who I trust, who I've dealt with before. Like Studio Neat makes hardware stuff, and I wouldn't hesitate to back something of theirs that I was interested in, only because they've got a proven track record. So if someone's got a proven track record that I'm comfortable with, I'll do it too. But for the most part, no, I won't bother with hardware stuff anymore.
Yeah, I've risked it. We'll see what happens. If nothing else, I hope that they would deliver in the order that you've backed, and I actually backed quite early, so you know, maybe I'll be all right. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, ask me in a couple of months and see if I've actually got this controller or not.
So does it just work with an N64? Is that how? I mean, what's special about this thing?
Yeah, so obviously the N64 controller, the original one, is terrible. It's, you know, that 3-pronged,
right,
weird design where the analog stick is in the middle prong, and you know, most of the games don't use the D-pad anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so this controller is like, I guess what an N64 controller would look like if they were making it now. You know, it's the standard kind of 2-pronged shape. They've got the analog and the D-pad are on the left, and then the normal action buttons are on the right. But yeah, for now, this is will just work with an actual Nintendo 64 console. But of course, because it's compatible there, you can buy one of the adapters if you wanted to use it on PC or something.
Right.
Which is what I'm likely to do. I have an N64 and I have 4 controllers here anyway. But I quite liked the look of this kind of like rethink of how the controller really should have been.
It reminds me a little bit of an Xbox controller.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think at this point most people have kind of agreed that that's the best shape for a controller. Mm-hmm. You just want 2 big handles and the buttons in the right place. But yeah, it's an interesting take, and as I say, because it's quite cheap, I was kind of willing to give it a go.
Right. So to use it on a PC, you'd have to have an adapter that goes USB to whatever the proprietary Nintendo connection is.
Yeah. You can pick those up on Amazon for like £10 or something.
All right.
I think I even have one around somewhere, so that's not a massive concern to me.
I think we have a PS3 controller here somewhere that we do that with, because I think that one is particularly well suited to working with a Mac. You have to do some funky stuff to make it work, I think. I've actually not used it, just my kids have. Yeah,
I used the PS4 controller recently for Behold the Kickmen that we spoke about. And I connected it via Bluetooth, and it just kind of worked out the box with Steam, which was nice.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Because as you say, there's sometimes some messing around. Like Xbox One controllers don't work very well, and I couldn't get the Switch Pro controller to work properly. It just wouldn't map the buttons correctly.
Yeah, and then you have to end up doing some kind of like kernel extension or some other stuff that it's potentially dangerous or breaks when you update your OS.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm be interested to see when that comes out and how it works, because I still have an N64 too, and that might be nice to have, because I agree with you that original controller for that system is not very nice.
No, like it's fine. Like if you like me played loads of it when it came out, I'm kind of used to it. Like it doesn't bother me that it's that badly designed, but it would be nice to have something better.
It might be hard to play some of those games since that's so ingrained when you play those particular games to now have the button, they have the stick in different place and all that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
That's one of the things that drives me crazy about PS4 and the Switch is that the buttons are kind of reversed between the two systems, and it drives me crazy. For the longest time when I first started playing the Switch, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing because I just kept hitting the wrong buttons, and then I finally remapped my brain and got myself doing the right thing.
Yeah, I had that problem this morning. I started playing the Xbox One. I've mostly been playing the Switch recently, and yeah, I've started up the game. I'm in the start menu, and then I keep pressing the cancel button,
right?
On the Xbox, because I think that's like the primary button, like it is on the Switch. Right. Yeah, that's pretty frustrating.
Yeah. So you have a new avatar on Twitter with your face that has I guess a airbrushed rainbow on the side of your head. Is that a fair description of what happened?
It's not airbrush. That is hand painted, artisanal, handcrafted rainbow face paint.
Did you do that at the zoo?
No, that wasn't at the zoo. It was the freelancers meet that I go to, even though I'm not a freelancer. The same person that organises Pub Hack organises a meetup every month, and this was like the summer party.
Oh, okay.
So we went to a brewery that's in Portsmouth, and we were there drinking, and they had this mobile pizza oven. The guy was doing pizzas and stuff. And then a woman called Lisa who does like special effects for movies and photo shoots and stuff like that, but she agreed to just do some face painting for some people. And that that's what I ended up getting.
So now I know what happens when Rob goes to a brewery and has some beer. He ends up with face paint.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't drink that often,
right.
And I don't drink very strong beer that often. I think the beer I was drinking was like nearly 7%.
Yeah.
6.5%, maybe 7% or something. So it gets a bit silly, and yeah, I decided to get my face painted, and that's what I went with.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds like a great party. I would love. Sounds like I would love that. I love a good brewery, and yeah, a lot of English beers are really not that strong, which is interesting. It's like U.S. beers, especially the microbreweries. I mean, it's easy to find a beer that's over 9% sometimes here, which is that'll grow hair on your chest, as they say. So.
Yeah, so brewery, pizza, face painting. Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Everybody should check out Robb's avatar because his face paint is really nice.
Yeah, it's Lisa who did it did a really good job.
I assume that's gone now.
It's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, I obviously had to take it off that night because I didn't want it all over my pillow.
Or show up at work the next day and
exactly
looking like a clown. All right, well, that's cool. I think that's all we got for this week, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's it for
all
now.
Right.
I mean, we're running up to the the iPhone and all the rest of that announcement will be in probably 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. So
stay tuned to see if Robb comes back to iOS.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.